That's a lot better start than it was this morning, right? Woo! Little rough this morning, folks.
Yeah.
You're here for the second broadcast.
But yeah, the second's always usually better. By the way, great pictures, by the way. What the heck was that?
So that's pretty cool.
And who's the guy with the pink shorts?
That's Mike Markham, one of our
Mike Markham.
Markham out of North Raleigh.
Okay.
He's one of our termite. He wins all the time. The RAC trip always goes to President's Club.
Okay.
But that's the RAC trip that I just got back from yesterday.
Okay.
And I flew back in here to Atlanta yesterday morning, and
you guys are having a good time.
They had a great time. It was a beautiful day. It was down in Destin, Florida. Beautiful destination. You see those fish that Gary Scott and Andy Bartholomew caught? They were
huge.
Giant redfish.
Yeah. He has a picture. What's it like? I caught a fish that big.
Yeah.
He actually has a fish. Yeah.
The fish were, I said, well, did you bring them home? The fish were too big. They were too big to keep. So they got to put them in a slot, I guess, down there in Florida before you got to take home the middle ones, right? You can't take the old
So they
dogs.
measure them lengthwise?
Yeah, lengthwise. You got to go back in the water or whatever. So no, and then all the other events that they had, and
nice.
there was a big I guess celebration. But they give them their awards and stuff Saturday night. But that's the clip that they played during the dinner.
Nice.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Explain.
Oh, yeah, so that's the heads or tails game.
Thing.
It's kind of hard to explain, but we try to give some money away and get the things going. Some of the folks are smiling. I see they know the game. It's an RAC tradition where we just try to give a little bit of extra money away because these folks have done a great job, so that's always fun.
Okay, I hear that tune.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. The chicken dance.
The chicken dance. That's what that reminded me of, the chicken dance.
So, Victor, like nobody is posting in the chat, would you rather have a chicken pot pie or would you rather have a snack stick, a Slim Jim, right?
I would go with the Slim Jim.
Get with it. I got chicken pot pie in there, but no peas. Please get with it. Get with it. Come on, let's go.
No peas.
In the chat, chicken pot pie.
No peas.
Nope. Oh, here we go. Slim Jim.
Bobby Williams.
Chicken pot pie all day long. Mark
Slimmy
McConnell.
Jimmy's.
There we go.
Oh, Mark McConnell.
Now we're getting after it.
Pot pies all day. Pot pies all day. Kevin, Jared, pot pie.
All right, that's better participation.
Where did pot pies come from? Like, what nationality owns pot pies?
All right, so we're going to go there. So Victor always teases me with these pot pies and all these little. Yeah, it's National Pot Pie Day today,
right?
And it's National Snack Stick Day.
Of course, it's National Pot Pie Day.
So I came this close, Victor, to pulling that down.
Right.
I said, you know what? Victor's going to tease me about pot pies. He's going to tease me about this, so I'm not going to do it.
And you're absolutely right.
But what happened yesterday morning, I am on the shuttle bus going back to the airport from the hotel in Destin.
Right.
And Matt Donnelly, one of our top superstar salesmen, and his wife Tammy, she actually works at the OCCC.
Right.
They're on the plane, or they're on the shuttle bus, and they say, man, have you ever gone to McGuire's in Destin?
Right.
They have great Irish food. And I looked and I'm like, nobody has great Irish food. There is not such a thing. And I'm pretty much all Irish, right? So they proceeded to tell me about the pot pies that they had at McGuire's. So I said, it's getting back into broadcast.
Right.
Then on top of that, last night I'm sitting getting ready for this broadcast, and I get a text from Brian Worth and his wife from Elaine.
BW.
And his wife Elaine with the picture of them in this very same McGuire's.
Okay.
They have $3 million hanging from the ceiling in this bar.
Oh, are they eating pot pie?
And there's the picture. So that's why we're talking about pot pies today.
Okay, I don't think they're eating pot pies though.
No, I think they said the steaks are really good, but
is that Irish?
Yes,
Jeffrey
Irish.
Steele says medieval England.
Oh, medieval England.
I wonder what the story is like.
Nice.
I don't know. The peasants got together and says, we need to make something, but we don't have enough of the ingredients.
We didn't have enough money, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that's the deal here.
Jeffrey, we need more information, man.
My mother, God love her, 4 boys, right?
Right.
She had to make mine with no peas, my brothers with no beans, one of my other brothers with no carrots, and God love her, rest her soul. She's up there in heaven staring down. She made individual pot pies for every one of us. That's how spoiled I was.
I don't know her, but she's a saint, right?
She's already up there.
Yeah, wow.
Who do you see out there?
Oh, let me see. Who's out there hanging out? We got
Scott Lyman. I see Scott Lyman. Jason Schneider's really intense.
Steve
staring
Litter's
at that
looking
screen.
too serious for some reason, man.
There's Brian Menke.
Lorenzo Alba. Yeah. Lorenzo Alba has to kind of just tell people, hi, my name's Lorenzo.
There's Mark McConnell. Oh, those Steelers took it to them Chargers yesterday, baby. Oh, you got to love that, Mark.
Are we talking sports
again?
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about sports. I know.
I have zero. Roy, Elegado.
Oh, hey, Roy's one of the fellas that was there.
All right, come on. Every time I see the ceiling on people's camera, I'm going, dude, adjust your camera, man.
There's BB. He's back in the library. He's back. We got more to talk about him a little bit later, don't we?
Let me see. We got, what is that?
It's my man George.
Josh Fowler. Is that how you say it? Fowler?
Jeff Franklin, man. What's happening out there in Phoenix?
Fowler like that? Is like Fowler, yeah. Matt Frey, dude, smile. It's okay, Matt. Matt, it's okay, brother. It's okay to smile, man. It's okay.
Bobby Williams.
Bobby Williams.
Timmy Tarantello's with us again. Ben Johns is in the house. There's Mike McKenzie. Who else?
By the way, Sean Wagner has this, wrote in here, hello, West Coast. Thought I would join you today.
Sean Wagner was on the RAC trip as well.
Okay, he says, I want to take a quick moment to thank the overwhelming support from the company division region, Ed, Terrence, and Nina from RAC with understanding our situation Saturday night and being there while myself and Annette were in a time of need. What is he talking about?
Yeah, so the daughter was delivering the baby. I don't know how it all worked out. Yeah, I don't know if she did, but I mean, they shot them out of there the next morning. They jumped through hoops to get them out of there. So hopefully that all works, Sean.
Hopefully everything will.
Catch up with me later. Absolutely.
Sean,
absolutely.
Boy, girl, name. That'd be great.
Yeah, outstanding.
Amanda Bell sells food break now, so I guess she's gonna get some food. But anyways, we got Vince Ponce. Dude, that's the name right there. Just 2 syllables.
Like that name?
Vince Ponce. 3 syllables. Nice. Ponce. Or did you just say Ponce?
What else we got? Carmen Diaz is in the house?
Yeah.
All right, let's get going because we got to get after some stuff. So, want to share, this is September's broadcast. This is the residential broadcast, so we're going to share those numbers first. Let's start out with the residential pest control sales. And again, OC3 in the month of August was up 3% year over year, Victor, so a nice little bump. They're up 6% year to date. They're having an outstanding month this month. Our residential pest control sales are already 15% over and above what they were last year. So we're finally catching some fire on that residential PC side. The one place we need your help is the residential PC sales sold by the field, which, as we've mentioned before, amounts to about 30% of our sales for residential pest control. That recurring revenue that's the lifeblood of this company are generated by either our sales folks on the call here or our Orkin pros that are out there selling some more services to their customers. So we had a miss in August, Victor. We were down 8% year over year. That's not good. Year to date, we're still down 2% of our field-generated residential PC sales. So keep grinding on that. Let's get after that. Let's make that better. Overall residential PC sales in the month of August, we were flat to last year. Not where we want to be. Not where we want to be. We're up 4% year to date. So we got a little catch up. Like I said, we're having a great month this month. $240 million in residential pest control sales through the first 8 months of this year. Just
hot dang.
Just crazy. Just crazy. What these folks really focus on and do the most of are these termite-related sales, and this is a great story for the month of August and continues to be a great story for the entire year. In the month of August, our traditional termite sales, Victor, were up 10% year over year.
I'll take that.
Year to date, we're up 8%, so a nice little lift even off the year to date performance. The one I'm really tickled with y'all folks, you delivered on it. We've been harping and begging, pleading. We're even running a contest sponsored by Corteva to pick up our bait sales. Our bait sales this year have really, really struggled. The good news, Victor, in August, our bait sales, termite bait sales were up 16% year over year. So thank you. Keep that coming. That brings us, that 16% August performance only gets us level with last year to date on bait sales.
Okay.
And the one that keeps ringing the bell are the ancillary sales, you know, the termite ancillary. In August, up 21%. And year to date, we're up 27%. Just crazy numbers. Rolling it all together. Total termite sales, termite-related sales in the month of August were up 16%. And again, we talk about this. This is just something that's been building for 5 years, these strong double digits. And year to date, we are up 15% with our termite-related sales. $269 million.
Who are these people? Who are these residential monsters?
They are these people.
Well done.
And let's just throw a little something else in there. Mosquito sales year to date, $62 million, 12% increase. Just crazy bonkers. Just nuts. It always matters. You know, Pat's down the hall teaching. What's he teaching?
He's teaching the Pygmalion effect.
The Pygmalion effect.
How to set expectations and have
people from all over the country that came in, and I think Pat's actually facilitating it. So we didn't go in there and bug him yet, but we'll catch him on a break after lunch. But Pat's happy. We had a slight miss company-wide on our profit to plan, less than 1%. You know, just minuscule. Still a phenomenal increase, year-over-year increase, and everybody's happy when you're on profit plan. And so I can go back. I don't have to hide from him. I don't have to sneak out the door before he sees me. So we're on profit plan.
By the way, he looked like he was in a good mood. He looked in a good mood.
I think he is. I think he is. In addition, Victor,
Yes, sir.
to all those strong company-wide performances,
Yes, Ed?
we had 46 of our home sales inspectors.
That's not a record, is it?
No, we had 66 a couple months ago.
Wow.
But 46 is something that's staggering. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like 2 years ago, we didn't have 46 people do it all year. 46 people in the month of August
Amazing.
got paid on over $100,000. What should we do?
Let's roll the video.
Outstanding, right?
Great numbers, great numbers. I'm bored with Hassan, though. I'm bored.
I'm not bored.
I'm bored.
$277,000.
Monster numbers, man. Holy buckets.
Just bonkers.
Man, that guy just... Clay Ashbrook.
Yeah.
Sam Boo.
Yep.
There also, anybody you noticed on there?
So a couple things. First off, 21 of those folks on that list of the 46 were in Destin.
Really?
Or they missed it because they couldn't get there. I mean, so I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg, right?
Right.
Is it they go to the RAC trip because they sell a lot of business, or do they sell a lot of business because they go to the RAC trip?
Okay.
I think it's one of those things that
let's
you
do
gotta
this. Let's invite everybody to the RAC trip, and then let's find out. I mean, if you want to find out, let's invite everybody.
Well, I shared this with the folks the other night.
Yeah.
We have 1,000 HSIs, right? Only 40 of them make the trip.
Okay.
That's 4%. I mean, these were the best of the best of the best of the best.
Right.
And it's just outstanding.
So what did you guys do there? I mean, besides celebrate, what was going on? You had a couple of workshops, speakers,
none of that. It's really just an event to celebrate what they did.
Nice.
There is one formal dinner Saturday night, like an awards dinner.
Okay.
We do the awards in an hour. I get up there, IMC it, or we walk them across stage, we get them back to the bar, and we feed them, and then they throw a party.
We feed them, here's the bar, here's your award, let's go.
Get back at it. But no, the whole weekend they get to pick different activities.
That's
and
nice.
That's the fishing and the snorkeling and that kind of stuff.
What did you pick?
I stayed in my room and did some work. I had a big national cat.
All right.
I'm not a martyr. I'm not a martyr.
Okay.
I had a great time. A bunch of folks coming off the list that are kind of new to me, right? Maybe first timers. I see Nate Mayberry, Ryan Crawford, Kafani Williams, Devin Showalter, Arshad Ahmed, Joe Madison. I mean, just different names that, and then you got the, just the standbys that are always there, right?
I like Bonifacio Corpuz.
How about that?
That's the father, right?
Yeah.
How old is he?
I don't know.
We need to know. I need to know. I know I'm not supposed to ask age, but I need to know.
Yeah. Hassan, you know what Hassan tried to do?
What?
So it was later in the evening.
I mean, he barely made it. Like $140. I mean, he was like...
Victor, he made $15,000 last month.
Well, I'm not,
If you call that barely making it.
No, he's at 140. But it counts. It counts.
Again, you know the drill. $500 for the top place, $100 for everybody else on the list.
Right.
Hassan sitting at the top. I was walking by the pool trying to go back to my room early so they could all do their little mischievous goings on without me witnessing it, right?
Right.
And Hassan, he comes charging out of the pool thinking he's going to throw my butt in there.
Crap.
That didn't go so good. He had some severe career limiting
you might want to think about that move before you start talking to the pool.
That's what I told him. I said, I'll fire you.
I'll fire you. Boop, boop, boop. By the way, some shout outs here. Ron Evans says, well done, Mario, Kevin Tisley, Mario Lopez, and Brian Worth, repping the OC. Be Worth, again, a nice congratulations there.
Amen.
Marlon, got a high five.
Yeah,
Mike McKenzie said, this is beast mode. I don't know what that is.
Amen to that.
But I'll just say the whole team's beast mode.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet Marlon for the first time ever out there.
Apparently he's popular here.
And he had to go home, too, because he had a little flare up with his daughter's health. But from what I understand, everything's doing okay now. So just a cool event.
Nice. Sean Wagner said, if you didn't make it to Crab Island, you missed out.
There you go. They put them all on a catamaran that broke down. The catamaran broke down. So what they did is they gave him the ride back. That was Saturday. That was Friday.
Right.
And they let him redo it on Saturday, and they gave him like a $150 voucher, and they just came across.
They were sunburned, but who cares? Here's your $150. By the way, so the call center again.
Yeah,
Shannon,
how about that? Out front again.
Shannon, let the music play Masiak. I mean, she's just killing it.
311,000.
Her and Teresa there. Gary Frano's also on that list, right?
All the time. Those top three just seem to be pretty steady Freddies. Yeah.
Chanel Dennis and Michael Wentworth, congratulations.
Yeah, just outstanding. So
great numbers, by the way.
Really good stuff. Let's move to some content, because I think this is. I talked about it a little bit at the awards ceremony. What you've done, right?
Okay.
It was we put our heads together.
Yeah.
But talk a little bit about these podcasts that we're starting to do, and particularly with Brian Worth and Celeste Curlee are the first two victims, I guess, on the residential side. Talk a little bit about the concept there and what we attempted to do. Then we'll share some content from it.
Okay. So over the last, I'll say, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 months, we've been talking about, every time we see folks on the list, we're going, how do they do it? What are they doing? And how can we extract that information? So Ed and I, again, for months have been talking about how do we, interview these folks and just try to pull out the information. So we finally got around to doing it. We call it the Red Zone. We haven't formalized the name, Red Zone Influencers, people who are really killing it that are on the list that we're interviewing. I'm interviewing one-on-one, and what I'm trying to do is, during the interview, is extract just real tactical information. Not theoretical, not motivational, but that's always in there. But a lot of the day-to-day, what did you do or what do you do to kind of hit those numbers? And our target audience, it's really everybody, but two specific personas. One is people who are just starting out, because you want to learn from the best of the best. Or if you find yourself that your sales have stagnated a little bit, I think the podcast will also help. So we want to show you Brian Worth and that conversation. And do you want to tee this one up?
Yeah, I do a little bit, because I want to explain that, these are about an hour long each, right? And when I first got him back from Victor and his producer, I looked at him, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff in there. How the heck are we going to share this? Like, it's almost like every minute there's like 2 or 3 things that come up, right? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to serve it up in full format, and then we're going to start to piece it out to y'all so you can kind of take it in smaller chunks. But it's both audio and it's video. So as you're driving around your cars, you're not allowed to talk on your phone, but you can certainly listen to these things and just kind of take in what they've got. And I don't know that we could have picked 2 better people to kind of kick this off other than Be Worth and Celeste. And I'm just so happy with how it came out. I mean, I'm ecstatic. I picked up the phone and I called Pat. I sent him actually to Pat and said, you got to check these things out. They're pure gold. So we really look forward to sharing. We're kind of working through with marketing this week, the best approach to get them out to you, but look for those very, very soon. So talk about that.
Let's do a little teaser. Why don't we just show you what the conversation is, a little segment we took with Be Worth here. Check it out.
You said something earlier about price. And Orkin is not the cheapest, right? It's just because we don't, again, it's not about price, it's about value. And so walk me through your mindset. Hopefully this will help the new folks or people who are struggling, is that as you're doing the walk around, you mentioned, hey, there's other things like insulation that I see that they'll need. And in many cases, in some cases, I should say, not generalize too much, the person will be able to, will kind of hesitate in presenting it. Because once you add, for example, some other services that they didn't expect, they're going to, they're hesitant. They're like, I don't want to include that because I might blow the deal.
Yes.
Walk me through, just your mindset when you're going through this and you discover that there's probably more here, but it's going to be more than what the customer expected, and maybe how you frame some of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, what some of my management used to call the pain point. You know, it was like, what was your pain point? Was it, you know, pitching $5,000 to a customer, $20,000 to a customer, and you know, so I try to improve that pain point, you know, year to year with my goals, and try to, you know, not let the price, not let that get in the way. But you know, again, you gotta read the customer on those kind of things a lot of times. But regardless of who the customer is, I'm always going to put everything on the table. You know, everything that they need, and then if I start to get some pushback, you know, we can get into talking about payment plans. We can get into talking about, well, hold on, let's, you know, if I'm losing them a little bit, let's prioritize what you need here. Let's start with the treatment and then the repairs, you know, and then, so I can usually get them at least 2 or 3 of the services, you know, and not all the time on 3 or 4 of the services that I'm pitching, but you know, you put it's in their head the first time you see it, they see all those numbers. So when you go do the re-eye the following year, or they call you in 3 months saying, hey, you know, we talked about that insulation. I really want to get that taken care of, you know, and so it's in their head from then at that point. And a lot of people are afraid to pitch that all up front because they think they're going to scare them with the price because that other company's $2,000 and we're $20,000. Well, you know, most customers are going to see that value. They're going to see why you were $20,000 and all the issues that you found and that we offer, versus that company just offering one solution for only that one problem. So,
yeah, I love the fact that, you know, you're sowing the seeds, right? You're mentioning things that even if they don't go with it, it's there. It's like a hobgoblin in the mind, right? It's not going to go away because Brian just mentioned this, so I can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts first, because I mean, that's 3 minutes, right? And I got like 7 notes on it.
Brian was a pleasure to talk to. I mean, you know, so far we've done 4, and whether commercial or residential, the content that's in their brain is just amazing. Yeah. And this one was interesting is that when we talked about, I've never heard pain point put that way. Yeah. In other words, for me, a pain point's always been about the customer. It's not what he's talking about if you really listen to it. He's talking about his own mental barrier of what he thought should be the most he should propose, and he's constantly pushing that number up. I've never heard any, I mean, I've never heard somebody talk about pain point that way, because he's saying, I'll just reinterpret what everybody heard, is that he's saying, you know, I thought, I don't want to bid more than 5. Then he starts moving the number up, I don't want to bid more than 10. And they're like, oh, they bought, you know, 15, oh, they bought, and he's moving that point up. Yeah. So I don't know if a pain point, I think price barrier might be a better phrase for it. What do you think?
I'd like a threshold in your mind.
Yeah, there you go.
I do want to point out that for our managers on the call, he shouts out 3 managers that he's had that have been very influential in his career. And the first one was, you know, rest his soul, Louis Warman, how Louis stayed in contact with him even when he wasn't his region manager. But he specifically talks about these pain points, and he shouts out Brian Bergeron, BB in the library, and he shouts out Mike McKenzie on how they kept pushing him mentally. Yeah. So to paint the full picture, Brian came to us from another company, right? And he was a fairly polished salesman already, right? You know, but when he started, he just got the black jacket when he went to President's Club, right? With these guys nudging him to put it all on the table. I love when he said, put it all out there. Right. And they got him convinced to use RAC more. You know, BB and Mike McKenzie, they started pushing him and nudging him to do that. His sales skyrocketed to where now he goes to every trip in a gold jacket. You know, he's $1 million every year, you know, bear none. But it was, and the part I loved about it was that he talks about planning this, you know, thinking about it in his mind, trying to get better every year, a goal. He sets a goal to raise that threshold to where I'm not afraid of 15 grand anymore. I know, yeah. Let me take it to 25, right? And I thought that was pure gold. What else?
I think that was the whole putting the thing on the table. He doesn't do what a lot of, again, not generalize, what many salespeople do, which is to prejudge what the other person might think or can afford. Yeah. And he's like, and he says, if you listen to it again, he goes, I put it all on the table, and if I feel the customer pushing back, I then begin to prioritize. See, that's powerful, because in today's market, what customers want you to do is, if you're gonna give them a lot, help them prioritize. Yeah. Not this, maybe this, but this has to be done today. This we can wait maybe 6 months, you know, and that's what customers want. Put it out there, help them prioritize it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, we talked about triple bundles and triple cheeseburgers all the time. Yep. I don't know if you gathered it, but he said, most of the time they buy 2 or 3 services. They might not buy 4 or 5 or 6. Right. Yeah. So he's pushing all of them out there. And again,
and also we've talked about this, Ed, not to interrupt, but we talked about that the more services they buy, the stickier that client will be. In other words, they won't switch over to somebody else.
100%.
So whether it's, residential, commercial, doesn't matter. I want to add this, that Brian, just like Jordan Bosmany on the commercial side, both said one thing, and I don't want to forget this because it's very important. When they started out, they needed help. And they reached out to either managers or other technicians, reps, whatever it may be, and everybody was willing to help. And I thought that was a beautiful culture note.
Yeah, and I see a lot of managers on the call. When you think about the Brian Worth story, some folks might not mess with him, right? You know, he's coming in, he's clocking, he's going to President's Club, going to the trip. But these folks that influenced him just kept nudging him. You can do more. You can be better.
Yeah.
You can be better. You can be better. You can be better. And I had a good chance to have a good conversation with him this week, and I just love the guy. And he talks about not blowing the deal, not being afraid to. A lot of folks are hesitant. That hesitation that we have of laying it out there, thinking we're going to blow the deal.
Right.
I mean, just think, put it all out, because I think putting it all out, in fact, does separate you. Creates that, like he said, versus 2,000 versus 20,000. Why the Oakland folks want 20,000? Oh, he did this, and this.
Yeah.
And then that seed that's planted.
And it doesn't go away, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it, like the bell being rung, right? Same thing. Go
ahead.
I wanted to add that, because I think this is important, is that I don't know if, I don't want to speak for Brian Worth, but I can speak for Jordan Bosmany. He says, when new people call me and they need help, I make sure I get back to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Kind of a paid forward mindset, and I love that. I love that. So if you're struggling out there, I think one of the things you should do is reach out.
Yeah, Brian and I talked about, this, like I said, it's 50 minutes long.
Right.
We were kind of laughing, because he makes a statement when you're interviewing him, because I've seen the whole thing like 3 times already, right?
Yeah.
He said, don't send me these new salespeople to train with me if they don't. He told the story about a guy stepping through the attic because he didn't know how to even walk around in the attic.
Right.
Just stepped right on the drywall and went through.
He did say you got to know the basics, right?
You got to have a little bit before you send them to me. But
right, yeah.
No, just
But I think that, like I said, the culture of I'm willing to help, people are out there to help you, got to ask for help, and the fact that they weren't natural, especially like Bosmany.
Yeah.
He wasn't natural right away. It took him a while to ramp up.
Yeah, out of the 4 that we've done, Brian is the only one that really, I guess, showed up as a pretty proficient salesperson.
Yes.
And didn't really come out of the gate stumbling. We're going to share Celeste in a minute, and we're going to share Albert Leishleiter, one of our commercial folks from out on the West Coast. We're going to share all of them with everybody.
Yeah.
Those 3 folks, to include Jordan, struggled mightily when they started their careers here. So
and there's nothing special like, and I don't want Brian to take this wrong. Don't take it wrong.
I think he's still in Destiny, so he might not be watching.
So it's one of those. You look at him, if you talk to him initially, because I've never really met him, so just talked to him. I'm like, there's nothing special about you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no slick. Hey, what's up? The whole thing. You can just tell he's authentic. He cares, and he knows his products and services.
Yeah, amen.
And then again, it's just that combination.
Amen. Yeah, if you've got any comments on there, throw them out there. I know BB and Mike have been really close to him. I think Ron Evans has spent a lot of time with him as well. So if you got any comments there, let's go to Comedy Hour, and let's share your story with getting Celeste
Curlee
on tape.
Lord, Celeste Curlee. I didn't know what to expect with Celeste Curlee, right? I didn't know what to expect, and it's rare for somebody to break me during a podcast, like break me like I just lose it. And so I'm just going to show you the video, because when I say she broke me, and you tell me if she would have broken you with what she's about to say. Here it is.
Very much a jokester. I walk in the house and my first phrase is anything flying, dying, crying, leaking, or stinking. And they see, same phase. Especially somebody who's, and they laugh, and I'm like, no. Anything flying, dying, crying. So flying would be your termites. Dying would be any odors or anything like that. Crying would be any, any kind of condensation, anything like that. So that's what you're looking for. And those are literally the core of what we do. Anything flying, crying, dying, leaking, or stinking.
Yeah, I love your attitude. And I think that's probably a big part of your success, is that you have this attitude towards somebody's house that, again, you care for it.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I care about your house probably more than you do. So I'm not here just to sell you something. I'm here to kind of check out what's going on. And you sell with that sincerity, that earnestness.
What's your first takeaway?
She was like not what I expected. I got to be honest, not what I expected. And the more you talk to her, great sense of humor.
Yes.
Single mom, so she had her challenges there. She's walking me through that. The sense of humor was really interesting. She uses not only her expertise, but like her sense of humor to overcome. We talked about chauvinism.
Yeah.
You know, like men in the house going, you know, because they're expecting an Orkin guy, not gal, right? Yep. And I love the fact that I don't know if she's from the East Coast. I don't know where she's from, but she's
Maryland.
Okay, she takes no crap. It's the easiest way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she knows her product. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty, crawl up in the attic, whatever it may be. And just the single mom, I got a sense of humor. I'm not a victim. You know what I mean? That whole thing. And there's this authenticity. But the one that really got to me when I was talking to her was that we discovered early on that when she started early on, she struggled.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only until she kind of found her own personality and started selling with that personality that it started working. And I think a lot of salespeople who struggle have not found their voice. I hate to say it like that because it sounds like, you know, one of those talent shows. But unless you find your voice and how to sell, you can't be as effective.
Yeah, and the pure grit of having to succeed, you know, being the single mother.
Oh, yeah, man. She's tenacious.
I mean, she readily admits that it took her almost a year to really get comfortable with it. Yeah, she made a few bucks, but to get comfortable, I mean, she's been on a whole bunch of these trips. It was her birthday. Yeah. You know, at the RAC trip, so they all sang her happy birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
She's on the dance floor, tearing it up. I mean, it was really cool. But think about. I love the fact, and I've always used humor in everything that I've done, right? I'm certainly not that funny.
Yeah.
I mean, to come up with flying, I wrote them down, dying, crying, leaking, or stinking. It's pure gold. And I think what it does is I mean, she almost gets that out as soon as she hits the door. You're on the threshold.
It's an icebreaker. It's for sure an icebreaker. Like because you'll listen to it and you go, because it's like a pattern interrupt. You're like, what? What did you just say?
Yeah.
And again, that's how she rolls.
You think about when you roll up to the house, the wall's up.
Yeah.
Here comes the sales guy, the sales gal, right? They're challenging you, and she just disarms them.
Can you imagine walking through the door with that line, though?
I mean, and your reaction was just classic. I'm like, you rolled your head
I can
down.
see it. Because I've met salespeople like that who have like one or two lines that they always use that always works. Just breaks down the barrier. And so she's found that line. But her, again, one of the things you get when you talk to Celeste is that she really cares, much like Brian, about the person's house. And she's not afraid to have that blunt conversation. I know that's one of the things a lot of salespeople who are struggling are missing. They're afraid to have those direct conversations, afraid to lose the deal, so they sell with alligator arms. Yeah, and it was funny in the video. I'm watching your reaction, and she says it. Yeah, that's the face. That's the face I get every time I say it. That's what. Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of opening line you've got, but man,
it's gonna be hard to top that one.
I might practice something similar to
down, leaking, stinking. Yeah.
To take the wall down.
You should make a shirt, Ed. We should get a shirt that says that.
At least certainly one for her.
Yeah, at least one for her.
Flying, dying, crying, leaking, or stinking. I don't know if I can get those all out at once, but
that's cool.
But again, just a testament to her grinding through it and getting after it. And
you could tell by the way, you feel the it wasn't easy for her. Yeah. You feel that in the conversation. She has a sense of humor about it, but you can tell that, you know, she's, as a single mom, you know, trying to work through this, she hustled for it.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I know all four of these folks fairly well, and I can tell you, B. Worth is probably the only one that coming to us didn't struggle. He certainly had to raise it, or he has raised his game dramatically from when he started. Like I said, he went to President's Club, I think, his first year here. But man, he's like top of the food chain now, consistently.
I know these guys are residential, but I want to highlight Jordan Bosmany because Bosmany he tried to get the first Orkin job, and the person says you don't have it.
The RSM, he interviewed with an RSM, and they said no, you can't work here.
And then the second RSM hired him. Right? And then that person quit within
2 days.
2 days. They hired him, he quit. And then he said he had this, I call it a hate fire. Like, I'm going to show you. And it took him a year. He says it took him a year just to build his portfolio of business.
100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Great. By the way, great interview. So when we get them up, I'm going to encourage you to really listen to it. There's great content, minimal fluff, great content.
Yeah. And again, they're both audio and they're going to be visual, which I love. And again, they're an hour long, and I've watched all four of them at least two times. And every moment you go through them, you'll pick up some content. And, take notes like crazy. Anything in the chat?
That's it. Mike McKenna says, great job. B-Dub.
B-Dub. Amen.
I take it that's Brian. Yeah. Okay. All right. But other than that, no, we're good.
Let's do a little housekeeping?
Yep.
Let's do a little housekeeping. So this mosquito-borne illness is still out there. Not that you want to take advantage in a predatory way, but man, talk about it with your customers. The other thing I would tell you is that yesterday, being a pest control customer, twice in two locations, I got an email yesterday in my inbox. They said they sent, I think, 1.3 million emails went out yesterday on Sunday offering $150 off gutter guard services. Our our leaf stopper, and it hit the mailboxes, email inboxes yesterday. And a lot of parts of the country, the leaves are starting to fall. So when the leaves are falling and you're out there, make sure you're talking about it, because the marketing department did their job. They pinged them, they offered them some money off. So make sure you're talking about it, and be like Be Worth and put all 4, 5, 6 offers out there. And I guess that would be the message I would have for you going out of here, is that pitch everything, at least today, tomorrow, maybe for the balance of the week. Follow Brian's direction and just pitch everything. Don't be hesitant. Just throw the kitchen sink at them, see what they want, let them decide what they don't want, right?
Correct.
And jumping back into that just a touch, that's one of the lines that I love that you bring, is that let them walk it back.
Let them
tell you
decide.
what don't you want, right?
I think I'll tell you really quickly. I did a cruise with orthodontists that sell all kinds of stuff, liners and braces and all that. And one of the biggest issues they had is that the doctors, or they call them their treatment coordinators, were also hesitant to present the full Monty, so to speak, because they were prejudging what the other person they thought could afford, or if they did put that on the table, just like Worth said, you were going to scare them away.
Yeah.
And they were trying to push through that mental barrier. So I think we have to overcome that. My statement to them was, how dare you judge somebody else what they can afford? Let them tell you.
Amen.
Your job is to put the offering, the value on the table.
Amen.
That's all we do.
Yeah, and I said, this week, try to do that. Yeah. Just pitch everything to every house you walk into and see what happens. See if you can turn the tide and you get rid of that. We're going to leave you here now. We're going to trail out with the announcement of where next year's RAC trip is going to be. And I've never been there. I'm super stoked. The crowd went crazy, Victor, when they made the announcement with all the folks.
Where's it going to be? So back to your chicken and egg thing. Does that mean everybody's invited?
No.
Oh,
you got to win. It's a contest.
All right.
Meritocracy here, baby. Meritocracy.
All right.
We are not a democracy, a meritocracy. You earn the merit and you get to go. So let's roll that tape. We'll see you all later. Thanks for all you're doing. You're all killing it.